people behind them. KC Cares is the intersection of the nonprofit and profit communities, making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. This KC Cares segment is brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. Kansas City has been blessed with successful sports teams, both collegiate and pro. And among the big winners are the Kansas City Monarchs, who captured the Wolf Cup Championship, the top prize in the American Association of Professional Baseball. The league was established in 2006 as a premier MLB partner. This was the second time the Monarchs won the prestigious title. First time was in 2021. Its predecessor team, the Kansas City T-Bones, won in 2018. The team carries on the rich tradition for which it was named. Part of the legacy is community engagement. Well, for owner Mark Brandmeyer, a key component of the Monarchs is being involved in the community, supporting various nonprofits. What endeavors is the team involved in, and why is it so important for this pro team? Well, Mark is here today to talk about all those things and all the Monarchs in Kansas City. Mark, it's so wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, congratulations again. Wow. How cool. How wonderful. How did that feel, winning that championship again?
Well, I mean, it's an incredible feeling and so blessed for the team that we have around me, both on and off the field. They do such an incredible job. They do all the heavy lifting. And as our manager, Joe Caffey-Pietra, reminds us all the time, none of us swing the bat, but those guys on the field. And what an incredible thing for them to have this kind of success, at this stage in their career. A lot of them have played, at a big league level. We had, 10 of our players play at a big league level. They come to play for the Monarchs with the opportunity to get back to affiliate baseball, which we had about 10 of our players go back to affiliate baseball this last year. But it's even more thrilling that they get to come in and actually play to win. Where sometimes in affiliate ball you play to develop, which isn't always about winning. But in our league and in the American Association, we're really focused on playing to win. That's really fun for the guys. The best players get to play, the best hitters get to hit, and this year we wound up on top.
Well, again, congratulations. You said you aren't swinging the bats, but you're swinging the bats in other ways and doing great stuff in the community. I want to make sure our audience kind of understands the history of how you came to this team. It was the T-Bones, and then you created this whole incredible new kind of team. Why did you decide to buy a baseball team?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, so it kind of harkens back to, my dad worked for Marion Laboratories back when Marion was first starting. I kind of grew up in the shadow of Ewing Kauffman and watched him as he progressed through his career, and then got to see him, take his steps into baseball. So I was always motivated by that. When I was a kid, there was a Kansas City Kings were here in town, and they were such a great NBA team. And I thought when we lost them, I thought, in 5 years, we'll have another NBA team. Well, now it's been, 35, almost 40 years. We still don't have an NBA team. So when I heard about the T-Bones, originally I said no to it because it was not in the best position, financially. But I thought for Kansas City to even lose a minor league team really hurts a community. The sports are such a fabric of who we are as a community. It's what we really rally around. For Kansas City, Kansas, this baseball franchise has been important and is still important. And so in October of 2019, I made the decision to go ahead and buy the team with the, being urged by the unified government to step in. Of course, never dreaming there was going to be a pandemic. So far, it's really stayed with this theme of nonprofits because this has been this was a heavy lift for anybody who had to endure COVID. and had business interruptions. They relate to what we had to go through. But it did give us a minute to really think about, what we were doing and what the kind of impact we want to have on Kansas City. Ewing Kauffman was very philanthropic, and my parents have followed in those footsteps and have been philanthropic, throughout Kansas City, helping in a number of different charities and entities within the community. I have a brother who works in not for profit. So, but really, what we thought about is how could we have an impact on Kansas City. And that's when the idea, came up to really rename the team the Kansas City Monarchs. At the time, the Negro League Baseball Museum was going through a hard time. They were going through their own COVID struggles. When you can't have people, come through the museum, that's a real problem from an income standpoint. But we thought, how great for Kansas City if we can shine a spotlight on this great history of the Monarchs and the Negro Legues and what they meant to Kansas City, and bring that not just to our generations, but future generations. And that's really kind of where the idea came about, and what has brought us to this point right now.
So a pandemic positive, we like to reinforce those. Everybody had mess to deal with, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
So how did that help you, though? Because as you say, this kind of the idea and the whole concept was birthed during COVID.
Yeah. Well, normally, anybody who has a brand, you've invested in that brand, and there'd been plenty of investment into T-Bone's brand. It was a fine name for the team, and probably had we not had the pause in baseball, we would have, kept with that name, just because we would have invested in that name and continued to bring that forward. It was really just having that pause that allowed us to think, if we're ever going to rename the team, now's the time. And when I first went to Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro League Baseball Museum, and approached him with this idea, it was with that idea. And if you were going to name a team the Monarchs, and if he was going to allow anybody to use that name, it really was with the idea that it should be a baseball team. The Royals aren't going to change their name; they've got too much invested in their brand. Mm-hmm. So this was really the opportunity for him to partner with us, and again shine a spotlight on the players of the past, but really then bring the winning history into the future, and that's really what we've done. The Monarchs were the longest running franchise in baseball, in Negro League baseball history. They stopped playing in 1965, so they haven't played for all this time. We were able to bring them back, and the players that put those that Monarch uniforms on, it really means a lot to them. The Monarchs had won 10 league championships. In fact, in 1924, they won their first Negro League World Series or championship. And so next year marks 100 years of history for Monarchs baseball and championship baseball. So very exciting stuff. But that's really what we're kind of trying to bring forward. And then the other thing that it's done, and what you alluded to earlier, it's really given us an opportunity to partner and spotlight, a number of different other charities that helps shine a light on what they're doing and their impact on the community, from Big Brothers and Big Sisters to we just had we've dealt with a number of Black historic causes. Certainly, the Negro Legues is one of our partners, and a charity that we're very fond of. They're going through a fundraising activity right now where they're looking to raise money to build a new museum that's really going to showcase the story of the Negro Legues. I think that's important for Kansas City, important for baseball. And that's not just a Kansas City story, but that's a national story that we want to continue to tell. But it's important that it's here in Kansas City. Not many cities, in fact, no other city has that story. So we get to really capitalize on that. But we've had great charity partners. We work with the Rotary Clubs of America and really fund their youth camp, for the summer. We have a big program with them. That's our opening day. So we've been able to say, yes to a number of things, and then not to mention just how many charities come out and get to experience the ballpark with their, with the people involved in the charities or the donors, and we get to continue to promote them. And I'd be remiss if I missed Variety Club. Variety Club is a very special charity that puts that really makes accessible playgrounds and sports fields all across the country. And we were able to work with them to put one of to be one of the most inclusive ballparks in the country by having a kids playground that was envisioned by Variety Club.
I want to go back to the Monarchs and the Negro League Baseball Museum. Share with our audience, this is not a name-only kind of partnership. How are you helping that nonprofit?
Yeah, so we have a financial relationship with them, as well as a promotional relationship with them. They continue to help us, promote the Monarchs name through, their different efforts. They're in the process of really developing a capital campaign for a new museum. In fact, they have an event coming up, I think, Saturday. That's a Buck O'Neill charitable event. So they do a number of events. So we co-promote each other, and then certainly just sharing different opportunities to promote are really important for us, and those and our two organizations.
As an organization, and you're a profit organization, how do you go about looking at what causes and charities that you all commit to? Everybody will call you, of course, especially when you're at the top. So how do you make those decisions?
I would say, we focus a lot on youth baseball and softball as causes that we are around, much like Royals Charities does. Education is another big part of what we do. We just had one of the largest college showcases, out at our stadium, where we had, I think, over 100 colleges come out for District 500 students to come in and get to see, the different colleges. It kind of started during COVID because there was, things had to be outdoor and distanced, but it's continued because it's been so successful. So we do that under our concourses and have all the different universities out to make their presentations to the District 500, students as they're moving through their and making their college, choices. So that's kind of, we do a lot in with different packages for auctions for a number of different causes across, and too many for me to name here. But just to give them, that's something that we can do that we don't have a lot of financial means, just because of the nature of our business. But that's something that we can do that doesn't cost us that much, but hopefully has a big impact.
Well, it's an investment that you say doesn't cost you much, but boy, it reaps benefits. Huge.
Yes.
So So we're talking with Mark Brandmeyer. He's the owner of the Kansas City Monarchs, and we're talking about the relationship that the team has with nonprofits and supporting causes here in Kansas City that are near and dear to you, your family. How has investing in these relationships with nonprofits benefited your organization?
I'd say, how it really benefits us is when we get to bring their boards and these different groups out to the stadium. They get to experience the beauty of Legends Field and the quality of baseball that we play out there. And so we really get to share that. People who, spend the money at the auctions, and we're so appreciative of them. We've had them up into the owner's suite. We've had them using the different suites. We've had ticket packages that they've been able to utilize. A lot of times it's people that have not ever been to the ballpark before. It's surprising how many people in Kansas City don't know that we renamed the team the Monarchs, and that there's a minor league baseball team out there in Kansas City, Kansas. So we're still pushing that name out. We're a small budget team in that it doesn't generate, we don't have the television revenue like the Royals or the Chiefs have, or Sporting. So, we have to operate on a little bit different budget but we have to be, more creative. And so the thing we also ask from our nonprofits is that then they share our message, with their constituents, and they've been happy to do that. And that's been fun.
So it's a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yes.
With the nonprofits that you work with.
One good example is with Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We have a great relationship with them, and you can imagine with bigs and littles, they're looking for things to do, and so to be able to go out to a ballpark that's affordable, that's you don't have to pay for parking. You could just go out and have a good time and spend quality time with somebody. Those are important activities to have, and so they're a great relationship. We have a relationship with a group. I don't know if you've heard of Golden Scoops.
Yes, we've had them on the show.
Okay, you've had them on the show. So, which is another great organization. We have them out every Friday night, with their group and they're a group that helps developmentally challenged individuals get workplace experience serving ice cream, and so we have them out to the stadium, and on Fridays they serve ice cream and sell ice cream, and the individuals that come out are just so thrilled to be out there, to be at a ball game, to be at that environment. We always suit them up with hats and jerseys, and they're just to have that experience is really special for them, and it's special for us because we get to share their journey and their joy, and it's those are the things we're really proud of that we can do out at the ballpark.
Folks who are listening to this and say, oh, I should reach out to the Monarchs. What's the best way for nonprofits to connect with you and see if there's partnership opportunities?
Yeah, I would say just, send us an email. And we have, somebody on our staff who kind of fields those. And so there's also a form that you can fill out on our website. That's www.monarchsbaseball.com.
Perfect. I was hoping you'd do that commercial right there. We want folks to be able to get in touch with you. On a personal note,
you can also get tickets there too, just by the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So when does season start again for you?
So next May, about middle of May, we don't have our schedule out right now, but it should be out in the next week or so. So we'll have that out to everybody. And last year we started the season early with Savannah Bananas. This year we're not going to have them. They're going to be they're going to be an every other year event for us. So stay tuned for 2025. But our 2024 season we're super excited about. Again, it's the 100th year anniversary of the Monarchs the original Monarchs' first championship. So there'll be a lot of celebration around that. There'll be a lot of celebration around our 2023 championship.
Right.
And we're looking to play, winning baseball, but we'll have 100 games between, May 15th and September 3rd. We play 50 at home and 50 on the road. Every Saturday night we have autographs and drafts where you can really come out, meet the players. We sit around after the game and you can take pictures and get autographs and but really get to know who these players are. And that's the fun part of baseball, is really getting to know the individuals. We have so many great individual stories that we had over this last year of players that came in, overcame adversity, and had great contributions for our team this last year. It's been a fun season.
So do you all work with your players and try to match them up with charities and whatnot? It's similar to the other teams. For example, I know you had Marquez Scantling out, and he did his fundraiser out there and raised $200,000. So I'm wondering if you do that with your own players.
And we're looking to do that event again this year. So we don't have a date for that, but we'll have that out shortly. It's the Chiefs charity softball game, and that we raised over $200,000 for his charity, this last year. So very important, and it was a lot of fun. On top of it, it's always nice to see Patrick with a bat in his hand as opposed to a football, and realize that he is equally athletic with a bat as he is with a football. So a lot of fun, and the guys had a great time playing softball out there. But then our players do match up with different charities of their choice. We kind of let them choose what they really want to get involved with. The only thing that we ask them to be involved with is some of our youth camps and youth baseball, and they're thrilled to go do that. So we're super happy to see them go out and be in the community and help raise awareness for the different charities that are out there. If there are any charities that would like to have, I know our mascot is pretty popular at different charitable events, but certainly if there's any if somebody would like a player to come out to an event, then we'd be happy to accommodate that.
You guys don't lay low, though, when season is over. You've got some exciting things going on off season. Tell us about this big winter thing. And I wondered if there's any tie to charity with that.
Yeah, so we do have an event going on right now that is a Halloween pop-up bar. So on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, if you go to Open Table, we have an event. We call it a Spookeasy, but it's Ghost of Christmas Past. But it's out on our website. So if you go to, again, www.monarchsbaseball.com, it's out there. So that's a lot of fun, where we kind of dress the stadium up as a spooky ballpark, and you come in there at night with a lantern and go up into our Legends Club and have some spooky cocktails. So that's really fun. And then we're having what will be Kansas City's largest Christmas event out on our field, called Enchant, and it's an incredible on the field ice skating rink. There's a big light maze that you go through, and it's a scavenger hunt. We got 100-foot Christmas tree out in center field. We transformed the ballpark into a winter wonderland, and so we're excited to bring that out. That'll start in the week before Thanksgiving. Tickets are available right now, also for that. So we're really excited about that event, and there are a number of charities, even though this doesn't benefit any one charity, but there's a number of charities that are coming out to participate in this, and this will be a great way to get your friends, family, a charity together, for the Christmas holiday, and celebrate, how special Christmas is here in Kansas City.
So, but it's given visibility to those charities, so it'll give more awareness to others. So
That's
kudos
right.
to you all to coming up. This is going to be an annual event?
This will be an annual event. Yeah. So we're excited about that.
And
so hopefully a family tradition.
Aha, there you go. So as you move forward into next season, what are you looking at in terms of expanding that charitable footprint in our community?
We look to really just, maintain and do what we've been doing, and continue the good work and working with the charities that we're currently working with. Again, we're probably going to expand a little bit in our promotion for youth baseball and softball. We feel like that's important. There's underserved communities that really don't have access to the equipment and the things that you need to play that sport. So supplying all that, there's we'll be working hard in the off season to really pull together a great team. We do a number of high school events out at the ballpark also. So District 500 will be playing out there a number of their high school games. So we encourage people to come out and attend those games and see the great high school talent that we have in this area. And then who knows, some of those players might wind up on the Monarchs field. Some of them might wind up on the Royals field.
How cool for those high school kids to get to experience being in that stadium.
Yeah, it's big league.
Big league. Before we run out of time, I wanted you to kind of reflect, since buying the team, rebranding the team, etc., its impact in our community.
Yeah, we've really seen Kansas City rally around this brand and this team. Some of the greatest stories are families that come together and say, and we've had this several times, say, this was the best summer I've ever had. This is the summer I got to spend with my son or daughter, and we came out to the ballpark, even if it was a handful of times, but then to watch you guys win the championship and be part of that, that's really special. We get a little overshadowed by the Chiefs. They're winning the Super Bowls and things like that. But for the people that come out to the ballpark, it's really special. I know it was special for me. I come from a family that really appreciates baseball and loves it as a sport.
Thank you, Mark, for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. We appreciate everything that the Monarchs are doing here in Kansas City to further other nonprofits and benefit them. Thank you for joining us for KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. We're produced by Charitable Communications. This segment was brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. To be a guest on KC Cares or underwriting opportunities, please visit our website at kccaresonline.org. And spread the love and find us on Facebook and Twitter at KC Cares Radio and on Instagram at KC Cares Online. Don't forget, you can catch us on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on ESPN 1510 a.m. and 94.5 FM. Thank you for joining us for KC Cares.